Hello. Welcome to today's session. Let me just get into Facebook land. I've been researching and running around and getting you guys links for today. So I'm looking forward to getting down. Today's going to be about red light belts. Absolutely, yes. But I wanted to talk about some of the different features. Depending on where you're looking at doing your shopping, I'm just sharing this to the VIP group. There are different names sometimes between the belts. And I can't think and type at the same time. There. Perfect. Okay. So, back to my ramble. If you're looking at the red light therapy belts, there's different options between each one. There's different things that they include as far as settings. Some come with batteries, some do not. And if you are shopping on Lifepro's site direct versus Amazon, there's different names sometimes on the products. So when you're looking, Lifepro's a brand, like it's a big deal, guys. So when Lifepro, sometimes some of their products, not all of their products, but some of their products are being sold by Amazon, and they have slightly different names at times. So if you're looking at a belt on Amazon, it may say red light therapy belt, 650 and 880 and blah, 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 blah. Whereas Lifepro, the brand and the name that they call it is the Aliva Red, perhaps, or the Aliva Red Pro, or the Aliva Red Pro Elite. So what I'm going to focus on today is the brand names, the ones that you know looking at Lifepro's site. If you cannot find them available on Lifepro's site direct, 9 times out of 10 they are on Amazon. So I also do have some links that I'm going to drop for you guys today. If you go into the Lifepro store on Amazon or on their main site and just search red light belt, it narrows down the looking a little bit. So I don't have every single belt here, but I do have the main ones you guys have been asking about, and I've got some of the new Pro Elite, the series. So there's not just the Pro Elite belt, there's a series, and there is some differences. So I wanted to talk about those today with you and show you the physical differences. So for those of you that are joining me today, please let me know if somebody could just drop a note and let me know that you see and hear me on the other end. I'm going to drop this. Okay. Copy. I wonder if it lets me drop pictures in here. I don't know. Let me see. I've never tried that. Paste. No, it does not. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to Lifepro Fitness belts first. So you guys can, if for those of you that do want to follow along, you can. Thank you, Carol. Hi, Linda. Hi, Kathleen. Paste. Some of you that have joined my sessions, you know my awesome technical skills. Poor Lifepro sometimes. But I know that I talk and you get excited about something and we get off on a tangent and then you go looking later and where was it? So I want to get these links to you guys right away. And what I'm dropping you is I did a search on Lifepro's main site of red light belts. So that's the first link. Then I did a search on Lifepro Amazon of red light belts, and that's the second link. So I had some cool little pictures that I'd crafted as well. But when the recording gets posted, I'll put some more details in there as well. So let's get down to the dirty. What are the different belts? What are the different features? And quite honestly, what's the best bang for your buck? Okay. The belts are kind of, if you've watched any of my light therapy sessions, I talk about wearable and then the set it, forget it type stuff. So red light belts are kind of in the middle. They can be used for a medium to large size body area. They can also be used for a specific body part, like maybe the knee or the ankle or the sciatic. So Lifepro's got a large suite of red light therapy products that are body part or wearable specific, some of the knee braces, some of the neck things, the face things. But a belt can be a little bit more universal in its application. And I think that's part of the reason there's lots of questions about which is the best one for this or that. So when I'm going through these two things, think about realistically, what is it that you're using it for? Is this something short term that you're trying to recover from and fix, or is this a long term chronic issue? Bad back, bad knee, bad attitude, that you see yourself using more often. So sometimes when you decide to make your purchase decision, if it's something you're keeping at home, you might lean towards something a little bit larger with more features. If it's something you want to be able to use at home and on the go, that maybe you're going to lean towards some of the smaller new mini pads or mini belts, if you will. I saw a question here coming up. Can they be worn under compressions? I wouldn't wear them under compressions, Carol. And if you don't mind, I'll get to questions after because my eyeballs aren't what they used to be. But you can wear them with compressions, and compressions is another whole chat. Are we talking medical grade? Are we talking just compression diabetic stocks? The problem with most of these under compressions, and I'll have to look into that because to be honest, I can't think if I've actually been asked that one, Carol. So I may get back to you with a more definitive answer, but there is some girth to them. So, you may not want them being pressed with compressions, but what you could do, depending on what you're treating, is you could, roll down the compression and adjust the tension or how tight the belt might be, depending on the area that you're looking at treating. I'm going like this because I'm thinking of my varicose veins and compression socks with my diabetics. Hi, Pamela. Thank you for joining us. So I know you can hear me. What I'll do, we'll get back to the compression socks if anyone has an answer for that. If not, I am going to look into that one a little further, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't use them over top of compressions. And there's different options that might be better. I have put all kinds of red light things in socks, and I've gotten creative to keep them in place, but compression socks, not specifically, no. Okay, so as I'm losing my voice, I've kind of lined up the belts in the order of features, okay? And I'm going to start with what I would really call the anvil of the lineup in the belts, the anvil being, something that's built to last forever. A good friend introduced me to that term years ago. So the Oliva Red is tried, true, tested. It's been in the lineup the longest. And it has a couple of different features. So the first feature, of course, that every belt offers, we know, is red light. So red light is option 1 on the Oliva Red. The second option, of course, is infrared. Now, the newer designs, the older ones didn't have this, but there's a little pocket on the front. And what that is for, this is what is called a powered belt. So with the Oliva Red, the regular everyday belt, you get 2 different power sources. One that you can plug in via like a USB power source, and one that goes into the wall outlet. So however you want to power the belt, you plug it in while you wear it, and you wrap it up when you're done. Perhaps, you're using it more, or, technology has evolved. And I did a session very early on. I didn't want to trip on the cords. So I just grabbed like a regular old power bank I had just for visual on the camera. And it did last about 3-4 minutes, but don't you know that Joel just thinks of everything? What does he come out with? Is the battery. So for those of you that look at these belts and go, well, what's the pocket for? Is it like for my snacks or my remote control? If you choose to get a power bank, now this is a little bit of a different power bank than you might use for your cell phone, because the power required for some of these devices is a little different. And I'll get to how different when we get into the battery charged versions. But the power bank is a separate purchase. And so this takes it from being, having to use your belt, plugging it in, to I want to do it with a power pack and use it in the car without having to plug it in, or maybe you want to use it somewhere that it's just not convenient to plug it in. Okay, so the power bank is an optional add-on, and that's what the little pocket on the front of the belt is for. Okay, so the workhorse, the longest belt in the lineup, the Oliva Red, is infrared. red light, or you can combine the two. It has a remote control, and again, you can plug it in two ways. It's got a USB, maybe you've got a block somewhere already, or you can plug it in. There's also one to plug in to the wall itself directly. So I'll just show you that very quickly, what all that looks like. So when you open the box, there's also an extender belt. Lifepro thinks about, maybe you're doing a larger area, or you're laying, or you're just larger in girth. There is an extender belt for that. There's a carrying. This one's brand new. I'm just taking it out of the box. It comes. They think of everything, and this is a good storage box for keep your boxes, guys, so that you can store it away, or you tuck it away properly. So the power sources that come with this. So there is a USB end. This plugs into the remote control end. So this is your remote control. See how there's two ends on it? So the open end connects. Very simple. Just shove her in there. And then on this end, where am I going? Oh, I did that the wrong way. So that's one option. You're using USB. The other is it has directly plug for the wall. So if you'd rather just plug it in directly, that's option B. So it really depends on what you want to use as a power source. It's got both options for you. Okay. Just gonna leave my pile of carnage here. So with the belt itself, it's a very simple connection located on the side. Oh, I should have cut the tape. I just wrecked the box. Oh, well. Okay. So this is a brand new one out of the box. And you'll see on the outer, see how shiny? Okay. So cleanliness is easy. You're not actually physically in contact with the diodes. Okay. This one has 105. Oops. Hang on. And very robust Velcro. And there's that pocket I was talking about. Okay. So if you did decide, well, I want to get the battery pack and make mine powerless, you put the battery pack here. And instead of your wall power, your power is now the data bank or the power bank. So that plugs into here. Wait a minute. Nope. What am I doing? Oh, I have to use the USB end. Oh, I was going to do this so smooth. I see that I'm freaking out the camera. Am I coming too close? Hang on. Sometimes I need to get close up and just let it follow me. There, see? So if you wanted to use the battery pack becomes your power source. You plug this in, and this one clips onto the belt. On the opposite side here. Okay. So located right beside your battery pack, you'll see this is where your remote control plugs in. Okay. And if I did this all right, oh, I should do power. I should have power. I know I did it right, guys. What didn't I do? Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't charge the battery bank. How ineffective for my demonstration today. Okay, well, in theory, that would have worked. This I have run. No, I did charge this today. What's going on? Maybe I didn't have it plugged in right. How embarrassing. The demo girl's doing it all wrong because now she's all flustered on camera. No, I've done something wrong, guys. Well, that was an embarrassing demo. I've done something wrong here, and I'm wondering if I put the wrong connector somewhere. Okay, my apologies for that part. I don't want to drag on, but I do want to get back to features. Now I've got a pile of cartage over here. Okay. So a couple more things I want to talk about with the belt itself. Opened up, and while I've got everything unattached, this will actually be easier to show. So there is a zipper located on the top portion here. So if you did have a sweat fest and you wanted to give this, the neoprene part, a little bit of a better clean, I wouldn't throw it through the dryer, guys, but you can remove the LED strand out of there, and you can launder it or give it a better clean. Now, one thing for those of you that maybe have older models, the shape has slightly changed. You see how it's got like a slight curve on the bottom of the back, so it fits a little bit more snug. So perfectly, obviously, this is the dream when I'm sitting and I'm doing my typing. If you've got lower back pain, but where I said earlier on about the belts being maybe a mid to larger area, maybe you've got pain, MS or fibro pain in the legs, or you're dealing with some sciatic. You can also seated. I love putting this around my legs while I'm seated on a stool, or when I'm laying in bed is really the dream. I do it around my hips, and if you're laying on your bed and you're laying on top of it, like the power is over on the side, it's not getting in the way or anything, but your body weight laying upon it, you may find standing versus laying down, it does get warmer because you're putting more weight and you're in closer contact with the diodes. Lately, I've been doing way too many blog articles, so I've been putting it up over my back shoulder blade is just like a chronic thing for me. So I kind of put this under my massively small left one, and I attach the belt that way, and that's how I get into my shoulder. I usually do about a good 10-15 minutes, and I always use everything. So I like my infrared and my red light. If I want more skin surface, of course, red light is more the skin surface, whereas your infrared is going to go a little deeper. I would probably slip off my hoodie and just wear my tank top and get it right on the skin. But you can wear it through, and certainly with infrared. What I'll usually do is about 10-15 minutes like this, and then I loosen it up just, it's a brand new belt, I haven't broken it in yet. And then I just slip it down a little bit on the outer edge on that side there. I have also just down around the rib cage, like just under the arms, for those of you that are looking to boost lymph. Maybe you've got more tension and pain in the upper back. So you can, and this is where some of the extender belts come in. If you're getting creative and you're putting it in a different area. The first place I used it when Lifepro came out with these, I have a bad knee. For those of you that don't know why I got into vibration plates, but I used to do this like figure 8 thing. So I'd wrap it around my knee, and I'd first treat sort of the underside and the top, and then I slide it down and I get it all around the rest of my knee. So just while I'm sitting, it kind of forms a little 90-degree angle. There's a good amount of Velcro on the enclosure. There's 2 good straps there, so you usually get enough to keep it in place. But it's been amazing. A lot of times I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but if I do overdo it or I wear some heels or something, I initially started using it with my knee. And so this is where sometimes, before I get into more features, some of you, how many times a day can I use it? If you're treating different body areas, you get different aches and pains, and you don't have a full panel or the nice, the RejuvaCure red light sauna. Yes, absolutely. It's kind of hard to overdo red light. You really can't. Your body's only going to extract what it needs. But infrared, if you're dealing with fatigue, you're going to go out on a big date later. You may not want to have a break a sweat 5-6 times a day. So it really depends on how you react to the infrared. But there's certainly nothing wrong with doing your knee, maybe then doing your hamstrings and your low back. That just keep in mind, if you are doing multiple treatments with any of the belts, so if you're going more than the preset time, give the device a little bit of time to cool down before you do something else with it. So give it a break till it feels cool to the touch, and then resume the next session. You're dealing with electronics and diodes, and just to prolong the life of your device. Speaking which, I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you're considering any of the Lifepro belts, make sure that when you open up your box and you see this thing here, that you activate it. 7 days to activate an upgrade for a lifetime warranty. So you do get a warranty, of course, with Lifepro's products. There's a QR code. You can also visit them online. Be sure to have your order number ready, but make sure that you register. These are, a little bit more of an investment perhaps than some of the smaller devices, but I do think that you'll find yourself using them more frequently because there's just so many universal ways that you can. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next pile of goodies. So again, the Aliva Red, the new pocket upgrade and the slight change difference, or the shape difference. So then we get into the Aliva Red Pro. So the Pro model, what is the difference? They look very similar, slightly different trim colors. And when you look at these again on Amazon, they're not going to come up necessarily as the Aliva Red Pro. Sometimes they're a different option. Pay attention to features. So this one has powered three ways you can power. You can power the wall, you can power through USB power source, or you can invest in a separate battery pack. And that's what the pocket's for. So this one you can get infrared and red light. When you step up to the Pro, which looks very similar, the added difference is there is a vibration feature. So this has infrared, red light, as does this, but this has the third option as vibration, and that's sometimes where there's a little bit of a price difference. This is also powered by a wall plug or by USB, or you can invest in a separate battery pack. So that is the key difference between these two models. And I see a lot of the questions when you guys are talking on the group. I just want to get this in front of the camera. So the key differences between the Aliva Red and the Aliva Red Pro, they both have infrared, they both have red light, they are both powered. They need a power source, but this one, the Pro, has a vibration feature. That's the big difference. And the remote is a little bit different for that reason as well. Okay. Also comes with a lifetime warranty. So then we get into, and I do not have a box for this belt, but I do have some of the mini boxes that are smaller. We get into the new Elite Pro series. So the Elite Pro belt looks exactly like this, except on the packaging it would say Pro Elite. And the difference between that, I do have the belt here, and I did test this. So the big difference is, and there is a step up in price for two reasons. With the Pro Series Elites, the Pro Elite, they include a battery pack. But the battery, it's not a universal battery power bank like the other one that you could use that for other things. These are really cool. So right on the belt itself, there's this series of snaps. And there's I don't know if you can see that. I'm not sure you can see that. There's a little plus and a little minus button, which corresponds, if you look very closely, with a little plus and a minus button on the battery. Okay. So this comes with a USB and a wall plug. So to charge the battery, okay, very key point. These will not charge with your standard 12 volt that comes with your whatever device. So be very certain that you hang on to the cord and the plug. You see how it's got like a little red? It's an easy way to know which one belongs to your battery pack. These have a different voltage than your standard phone and so forth. So you want to make sure that it's not going to, for 2 hours, I think that's what I did. I was using the wrong plug and I was still at 0% on one of my batteries, and it was because I wasn't using the included Lifepro one. So if your battery's not charging, it's probably not the right block. So we're going to put this in here. I'm sure you have something that works like that at home. And then you can see on the end there is corresponding. And then you just plug that as you would traditionally. I charged this up this morning. So for visual effects, so all the Pro Series have these. So the Pro Series are all the new mini pads, and I'll show you the difference with those here in 2 secs. Okay, so I'm gonna put the plus to the plus, and it's magnetic. So like there's no putting it on wrong. Okay, so with this one, you press and hold it for about 2 to 3 seconds, and it turns on. Okay. Now, beside it is a little swoosh button, and this is how you filter through your programs. So it's preset for a 10-minute cycle. I'm going to hit start, and it shows me my levels. Oh, wait a minute. I hit the power button to flip between modes. So there's different modes. So, I had my little reference here. So the different modes are the little upside down horseshoe is just my near infrared. I'm not seeing any lights. If I hit it twice, then I turn, it's my infrared and you can see the red light turn on when I did that. So that's infrared and red light. If I hit it again, it's just red light. So you can do just red light, double click is just infrared, third click is both. Okay. And to turn it off, you simply press and hold. Oops, I'm not pressing and holding enough. Now, let's say I wanted to play around with these new ones. There's different intensity levels. So we're going to, again, press and hold for 2 to 3 seconds. And before we pick our infrared or our red light or whatever we're doing, we can, these, I didn't want to get to this point yet, but I will. The new Pro Series also has a different LED chip. They're called a triple chip LED, and it depends what company you're talking to. All I want to do is have some salsa and chips whenever I talk about them. But the triple chip in each little diode is 2 infrared and 1 red light diode. So you're getting kind of double the infrared capacity. They tend to be a brighter LED. All the other series have 1 infrared and 1 red light diode. So they have 105 lights. This has 105. I think it's 105. Yes, 105. This has 105 lights. But the difference again is red light and infrared and vibration, red light, infrared, and vibration, and a triple chip LED. So the LEDs are the newest, latest, greatest version, and they will feel warmer. They do require more power because you've got 3 chips in one diode versus 2. So you may find with the news, and I haven't been using them as consistently as I normally would, but I do find I don't need to use the Pro Elite series as long because there's more efficiency in, especially if you're in infrared mode. So I think a common question that has come up is, why is it only preset for 10 minutes when these ones are 20 or 30 or 40? There's a different chip technology in here, and I just want you to be aware of where some of these value differences come in. So to switch through the intensities, keeping that in mind, you can switch with this little swirl button between the different functions. So depending on whether you want a low intensity light, maybe you want to do a longer session, or maybe you got to get to it and you've only got time for 10 or 15 minutes. It really depends on intensity on any of these belts is another question. Should I do level 1 or 2, which is better? And there's lots of opinions out there, but it really does boil down to what temperature do you like your personal sauna at. It's really much a personal tolerance thing. For me, it depends on what body part I'm working on. So if I'm using a belt on my back, I can crank it onto the highest intensity and max time, and I'm okay and I'm melting. But if I'm doing my shoulder, sometimes I'll do my varicose veins on my lower legs, maybe it's there's I don't know, there's less skin, there's less muscle, but I do find I can't take as high a setting on my shoulders, my lower legs. So it kind of depends on what I'm treating and how long I'm going for. For those of you that are looking at boosting weight loss, that was one of the questions I had earlier today. It's about raising the body's metabolism is one way of, boosting those idle calories throughout the day. So, if you want to do a red light session earlier in the day, maybe incorporate it into your workout or your infrared. But also, I recommend a longer session. So try, if you're really trying to get weight loss and toning results, I mean, you can't wrap this around you and lose 150 pounds, but it is a great way to accelerate, improve just cellular health to a degree. Raise body temperature and trouble with some areas, if you will, help you target, but it's going to help you recover as well. So there's lots of reasons this is a good complement. If you're looking to gain muscle mass and tone things up, what's nice about the Pro Series, as many of you are diligent in following some of the sessions that we recommend here, I really like incorporating my red light with my vibration plate sessions. So the new Pro Series with the battery, then you don't have the cords in the way. You can do your squats, you can do your crunches, you can get down and do your push-ups. It's certainly a better option if you're looking at incorporating it with dynamic type exercise. But that being said, long before these other fancy versions and the battery pack came out, I did the same thing with the Aleva Red. So, I just made sure if I would typically wear it while I was doing my legs, whether it's on my abs or my hips or even my quads at times. And I happen to have an outlet right here beside my machine. So that made it handy. But this does make it more convenient if you're doing other types of exercises where you're moving around and so forth. And maybe you don't have an extra power outlet by your machine. Maybe you want to take it traveling with you. These are a good option so you're not having to have the hassle of looking for a power source. And, even though some of you may have older models or, don't want to make the investment into the Pro Series, the power bank is an option too. And I love the power bank because you can use it for other things, charge your cell phone, charge your laptop. I'm trying to remember what the capacity is. I'm looking here. 15,000 mAhs. So way more than the little stick ones that I'm walking around with. And it's got some weight to it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you another example in the Pro lineup. On the opposite end of the scale, this is the Aleva Red Micro Pad. So this is the Pro Pad. So it has the triple chip LEDs. What's cool about these, I gotta get the other one to show you the visual difference. Because this is just a trouble spot area. So maybe you're dealing with some neuropathy or some neck pain, or you want a purse-sized one, or maybe, you just want to lay your arm on the recliner on it. There's a lot of ways you can get creative with this because it's smaller. See the batteries? So the batteries are unique to the pad. So this one charges up the same way. On this one here, on the mini pad, you can see the same thing. There's a plus and a minus indicator, which line up. I'm trying to get the look there on the camera. You can see those markings on the belt. Clips in place. Same premise as the other one we were playing with earlier. So we turn it on. You can see the red lights going. 10-minute preset. Same thing. These new pads have the triple LED. So you got your 2 infrared and 1 red light. And you can filter through your intensities. So the functionality between all of these are universal, but the size of the device and the size of the battery pack to power the lights that come with that specific unit are going to vary. Okay. I'm saying MK a lot today. So just to recap before I get to something else that I don't know many of you are aware of, and I'm not sure there's actually been a launch yet, so I'm going to launch this one today. So the Aleva Red Pro, again, they are both powered either by USB, wall plug, or optional battery pack that you can buy separately. Okay. The Pro Elites, and the difference, sorry, I tripped. I had it so in my head. So these are both powered. This has red light and infrared. The Pro has red light, infrared, and vibration. So think black has vibration. Blue has the 2 standard. Okay. And you'll see the difference in the price, of course. The minis, all the new mini pads, there is a large pad as well that I've got on loan with my neighbor. And then up to the belt, these are the new Pro Elite belt and pads. These have the triple chip LED, so your 2 infrared, your 1 red light, and they include the battery pack. So that isn't something that you have to purchase separately. The Pro Series includes the appropriate battery with the product. Okay. Have I lost anybody yet? I just got mine in the mail today. So, oh, Deb, that's awesome. Okay. One more. And you know what? Okay. So red light and infrared. Most of you have a vibration machine or a gun, so you do have something vibrational. I do enjoy the vibration option on this, but I'm really into PEMF lately, and I love my InfraZens. So there's a new one that's come out. My packaging isn't awesome because it comes across the border. Some of you have probably seen this already. This is the Infratone. So this is a smaller belt version of the InfraZen mat in the big sauna. So this has, unlike the InfraZen full-size mat and mini mat that the PEMF and infrared, a little carrying bag. Okay. This incorporates infrared, PEMF, and red light. So you've got 3 options on this one. This one is like a dream come true under the back of the thighs or the back. A little bit more substantial because of the PEMF, because of the crystal, the tourmaline in the belt. Yes, it weighs about 2, 3, 4 times more than some of these. But it's not so huge and encumbersome that you can't take it on the go with you. So this one, obviously, because of the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, has a different hookup. And if I did this right, I've given myself enough room. So I better come closer. Okay. So the controller on this, on the belt, there's 2 little toggles. It only goes in one way, so you can't, and once it's in, it's locked. So you'd have to depress to separate it again. Okay. So hang on. I got to put it on for full effect. So this one, for any of you that have an InfraZen mat, it looks very similar, but it is different because of the red light feature. So we are going to turn the power on. So automatically with this belt, think of it infra, the first part of the name. The infrared is always on this belt. So that's the main default. If you don't want so much heat, you just simply turn down the temperature. Okay. If you want more heat, this one will go all the way up to $1.76. Okay. My time is set at 50 right now, but you can change it in intervals, whatever you like. Okay. Up to 60 minutes on this one. So I've got it set at, it's warming up on infrared. I usually set this on the couch and let it warm up before I sit down. I've got it preset for 60 minutes. So there's 2 feature add-on therapies. Each one is its own therapy, but infrared will always be going on this. So if you'd like to do some skin surface, you want to ramp things up and add some red light, hit that. Oh, see that? There's my red lights. Okay. And if I want, maybe I want pulse electromagnetic field therapy. Very simply, it's cellular energy. Think of PEMF as recharging your cellular battery. It has been medically approved since 1960 for bone repair and bone healing. But it is, think of it as, we're electrical beams and You know, if you're tired or you're in a place of recovery, PEMF is a great tool to recharge your cellular battery. It's going to make them charge more optimally, which plays off the red light, which boosts the mitochondria, of course. And all of this, of course, is a nice big combination for the detox side as well. So if I want to add PEMF, you'll notice there's this little pulse button down on the bottom. Okay. PEMF on all of Lifepro's products is a preset 20-minute treatment, but you can add it anytime throughout the course of your basic infrared treatment. So you can add on red light, infrared, or you can, during your infrared treatment, you can add on red light, you can add on PEMF, or you can use all three at the same time. So to add the PEMF, you simply hit it. So that's going to, it automatically does 20, and then you see how it jumped back to 59. So you know it's running. But how do I know if it's running, Debbie? Really, how do I know? I'm going to turn, we'll get my magnet. For those of you that have the InfraZens, okay, there's this little, looks like a pill bottle. And what you'll do with this, I'm going to turn off the red light. I've turned off the red light because I didn't want to blind anybody. So listen very carefully. You hear that? So when in doubt, you can't see the pulsed electromagnetic field wave, but you can see it making that thing dance around. Okay? What frequency do you want to use on PEMF? So I should show this because a lot of people, this is a new function on this. So we're doing our infrared. We're set for, but PEMF has its own, kind of like your vibration plates. Different frequencies offer different medicinal effects. Those are outlined in the manual of the infrareds, but or in the InfraZens, the product lineup. But to change the frequency on the PEMF on this device, you press the PEMF button. Notice how it shows, it displays our PEMF time, and you can use the controller to reduce or increase the PEMF frequency. Okay, so two things you can set on this new Infratone belt: the infrared temperature, but you can also change the frequency of the PEMF. PEMF, if you are in any way, shape, or form dealing with inflammation, any of these technologies, you should always address the inflammation first. Lower frequencies in PEMF do a better job at that. Lower intensity on vibration machines, closer feet, is better when you have inflammation. The anything under 8, 7 in the lower ranges for your PEMF is more optimal for inflammation. And I'll put a little bit more information up about that later on. But the new Infratone belt, as I said, I just want to recap, includes infrared, red light, and a new PEMF therapy combined in those. So it's not, it doesn't look and feel the same. Hang on, I'm trying to undo my power cord here, and I did it wrong. I didn't think you could do it wrong. Oh, I've got the box here. The biggest difference I would say with the Infratone is for those of you that maybe have been looking at the PEMF mats, but they're too encumbersome or they're too much of a price point. This is a really cool crossover therapy. You've got, like I say, the infrared, red light, and the PEMF all in one. And it's very substantial, guys. The stitching on this is just awesome. And it's very robust. I don't know if that's the right word. The Velcro is huge. This is heavier, but all the little moves I was showing you earlier, why can't you do your shoulder? Right? So you see all these videos about scarves. We should do a Lifepro one about ways to wear your infrared therapy belts. So whether you call them red light belts, whether you call them infrared belts, the big difference, like I say, with the new belt, the Infratone, is that addition of the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy And that also speaks to why there's obviously a different investment price on that one as well. So, okay. What else? The last one I just showed you there, in case you're just joining us, I took it out. There is a carrying bag with it. So all of these, really are portable in essence. None of them require, anything additional to purchase to operate them. Again, just to recap, the Aliva Pros, or the Aliva Red and the Aliva Red Pro powered units, infrared red light. The Pro has the addition of vibration. The Pro Elite series has power packs included, plus they also incorporate the newer triple chip technology in each LED. So each diode has 2 infrared and 1 red light diode within those chips. So they are a shorter treatment time. They're going to be a little bit warmer quicker. And if you can do multiple treatment areas, you're welcome to do that. I just invite you to be mindful of your devices and let them cool down. Don't run them for 3 to 4 hours directly, but I can assure you I've used the batteries a couple of different times, and they are ideal if you're on the go, if you're coping with symptoms that you need to manage regularly. Having those on-the-go battery packs are nice, whether you're looking at the incorporated ones. Lifepro sells this one on their site as well. So if you've got an older belt or you've gotten one of the Aliva Red or the Aliva Red Pros and you decide, maybe I do want to be portable, they provide that on site as well for purchase. Ta-da! I hope I answered all your questions. I'm going to kill a few lights because I feel blinded. And then I want to get to your questions. One of the questions I had this morning, I believe it was Cynthia. I just want to cover off, she's looking to, she's an active gal now. She's got a pretty good discipline and routine by the sounds of it. But sometimes, you buy these things just to give you that edge or, take you out of that plateau maybe that you've been experiencing. So for those of you that are exercising regularly, using your vibration plates, I mentioned it earlier. I love combining technologies. I've got a hanger here for the larger red light the larger Lifepro light panel. And I like that to cast upon me while I'm doing my sessions. I feel like I'm in the tropics somewhere in the middle of winter. And, if I'm sitting on the couch or if I'm traveling, the belts are a good option. Again, if you're looking at larger body areas, they're very versatile in where you can apply them to your body. And you can certainly do multiple treatment areas in a day. Like I say, just getting that cool down time. All right, Aroni, who is here with me tonight? Hello, Miss Irene. Long time no see. How's my Kiwi girl? I see Deborah Bryant. I see Pamela. Hello, Pamela. I see Carol. I said hello to earlier. Hey, I got some of my Lymphy crowd here. What do you guys think about red lights under compression? And Carol, let me know if you're talking like compression socks or like your prescribed like leggings. If it's either of them, to be honest, kind of like vibration plates, I say go as you are. Sometimes just getting into like compression garments is like a workout in itself. You're done by the time you get them on or off. So sometimes you just got to go as you are, especially if it's for like a symptom relief type situation. But if you are looking at treating it regularly, instinct is telling me to ditch the compressions. And if you're treating it with red light, you want to get it on the skin surface, but it certainly can penetrate through thin clothing. So it depends on the thickness of the compressions, if that makes sense. Who else is here with me? So I did drop. Hi, Rita. Nice to see you. Linda is here. I'm curious if any of you have red light belts now. And Pamela is still here. Thank you. So questions. I talked a little bit about the triple chip LED and things are improving all the time. So the triple chip does consume, they're higher power, but you don't need to use them as long, guys. So for some of you that might be using the belts, let's say, it's a relaxation thing, it's a weight loss thing. Sometimes it doesn't always mean that the latest and the greatest is going to give you more benefits. I think many of you are going to be very happy with the standard Aliva Red Pro or the Red model, the powered units, especially if you're just sitting at the end of your day. If you find yourself more active, or you're in a busy life and cords are cumbersome, maybe investing in a battery, or upgrading to one of the Pro series, where the battery packs are included. It just really depends on your own headspace, your own lifestyle, and really your intended plans for use. The biggest thing with any of the red light belts from a benefits perspective, like any of Lifepro's products, is using them consistently and continuing to use them after things have remedied themselves. So just because you've hit that weight loss goal, or you've been pain-free for a month, doesn't mean that you should stop using them. If you've been using your red light belt regularly, things feel like they're plateauing, you're getting kind of bored. Sometimes a rest and reset period is a good idea. Just like exercise, we can get used to anything after we've been using it regularly. And once your body gets adapted to red light, there are studies that you may not need to expose yourself for as long. Your body kind of takes what it needs, and anything extra is just gravy. Wouldn't it be great if it worked that way with sugar? But at the end of the day, I think many of you are going to be very happy with the basics, and sometimes we get a little caught up in the all the extra latest features. But there's certainly a place for each of these belts, but they do have slight differences, and there's just been a big rise in questions, so I wanted to address those for you guys today. Brenda, Lifepro is what I use. So Brenda has the Red Pro. I love that you call it Ali. So hers would have the infrared, the red light, and the vibration option. And it's certainly a nice to have for those of you that maybe are really into the vibrational type therapies. You enjoy that modality. It is a nice add-on to have. But as I said, many people do have other toys and tools that submit vibration as well. And combining things is my favorite way to use all of these tools. I do not own the belt yet, Pamela says. Well, keep an eye. There's always late and great deals coming up. There is a 30% off right now with Lifepro for winding up to Mother's Day, getting things going now. So, I don't know what's happening in the world with politics. I live in the country of Canada today. That's all I'll say. Hint, hint. But I would suggest if you are looking at something for mom or yourself, when the sales are big, the inventory isn't always. So just make sure that you keep an eye on that. And sometimes people get upset because it's not on the site or it's not on Amazon. Inventory levels vary. Lifepro doesn't necessarily supply the inventory at Amazon. So if you do see something on Amazon and it happens to be a better deal or a special deal today, different than the site, that's completely on Amazon's end to decide. So that's sometimes why you see the differences in price. So always check both places. But I did do some shopping this morning, and I posted the links earlier in the feed here, and bar none, if you go to Lifepro site direct, there's some really good deals to be had at that 30% off price point. Not on all belts, but I do believe it's the one place you'll find the Infratone as well. Maybe that was on Amazon. I'll look that one up separately. I will put the link to the Infratone if for those of you that maybe aren't aware of PEMF technology. Sorry if I just put a wrench in your decision, but it is a really good price point for the three therapies that you're getting in that one belt. And it is a little bit more substantial than the Red belts that are anywhere from, I think they're 1.2 to 1.6 or 1.8 with the battery pack. So they're under 2 pounds in any situation. The larger PEMF Infratone belt with the red light and infrared is not something you're going to be using with a battery pack. That's a different ball of wax. You'll need a wall plug for that one. So I hope everybody learned something today. Brenda is using it for scar healing from ankle fracture. Interesting. Using a certain product or a certain technology. I'd like to hear a little more about that. Linda has the Infratone far infrared PMF belt. How do you enjoy it? I love the heat that comes off. I'm very heat tolerant, and I literally turn no cold on in my shower. But I'm really loving the amount of heat and just that little bit larger coverage area that the Infratone offers. I've been known to use 2 or 3 red light therapy belts at the same time so I can get my whole back. But I'm too lazy to come down and lay on the full size mat. We all have our vice. Brenda, I would think depending on where the scar tissue is, if it's skin surface, the red light would be a good way to go. And the infrared and the PEMF would be a game changer as well for scar tissue. Scar tissue is a tough one. You know, sometimes if it's older, it's different than working with like recent scar tissue. The coloration, the texture, everything's a little different. Deborah has just got hers in the mail, so she's got a red light belt coming. I'm wondering which one it is. And then Pamela said, how is this different from the heating pad? When I use the heating pad, I get too hot and have to turn the heating pad off. Does infrared heat up? Are you talking like a Lifepro heating pad or a heat pad that you sit on? So any of Lifepro's belts or the InfraZen mats, there is one that is awesome for sitting on the couch. It just sits the back and the lower legs. They're an adjustable temperature. So if you're finding the products that sometimes there's limited options in the temperature controls, and you just didn't think about it, right? So one of the big things with all of Lifepro's products is you can adjust that infrared in quite a good range, well under 100, and then on some of these products upwards of 170, 80. So you kind of got to figure it out. And as I was saying earlier, you know, different body parts might have different tolerances. So for me, I can take like hot on my back, but sometimes on my hips or my upper body, my shoulder, my arms, not as much. My lower calves I treat as well. So sometimes I prefer a lower temperature. Sometimes I prefer a hotter temperature. So I like having the different adjustability. And the infratone is adjustable as well for the same reason. I hope that makes sense. Who else is here? So impressed to see Irene here from New Zealand. I wish we could just go for coffee already. And I have to get back to you, Carol, on the compressions, to be honest with you, because I can't say off the top of my head what makes the most sense. There's no reason you couldn't use them over, but I'd want to know a little bit more about the compressions. If you prefer not to get vocal in a public setting, just send me a direct message. That's fine as well. For those of you that are watching this on a recorded basis, you can always just ask me any question, message me. Sometimes I've made your head spin with all of my talking and you think of something after the fact. So just tag me at Debby with a Y in the comments and I'll be certain to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If it's a stock or an inventory situation, like I say, make sure that you're checking between Amazon and Lifepro because they may be sold in different places and at different prices. So keep that in mind. And I would also like to remind you there is all kinds of reasons to be following the VIP group. If you're not a VIP group member now, there's all kinds of reviews and giveaways and all kinds of good stuff. And there's a review contest on right now. So make sure you check that out in the feed with Lifepro. I will drop a link in here after the live. And for those of you that are considering belts or vibration plates, between Roseanne, Amber, and myself, there are probably well over 1,200 sessions that have been done in the Lifepro VIP group. And most of them you'll find on YouTube now. So if you do want to share them or view them elsewhere, they're a little bit more easily accessible that way. So reach out to me at any time. Have a great rest of your day. If I don't have any more questions, I'm going to be looking for some feedback from Deborah. And I'm also going to be looking forward to some I want to hear back from Brenda on the scar tissue, Lifepro for the scar tissue. And you're probably using all of it. Most of us do. We use the red light and the infrared. And if you've got the vibration as a feature, great. If you don't, sit on your vibration plate. There's lots of ways that you can incorporate. These belts are just very universal. And I think if you had to pick one item, you know, from the red light, you know, lineup, that is a wearable, I think you'd be very pleased long term. Again, there's never one device that's perfect for every scenario, every body part, but they certainly are probably the number one when it comes to that low back, hip pain, especially for those of you that are, you know, seated and not necessarily by choice. It's just the cards life dealt you. So if you have any questions after the fact, let me know. Brenda's surgery was 2023, so newer scar tissue with the Lifepro. Don't know if you got a massage gun or a vibration plate, but some good movement, some weight bearing movement. But good for you. I think you'll notice what did I notice? I have a really bad scar that looks like a big Nike swoosh on my thigh. I was dirt biking as a kid, and I literally crashed into a combine, for those of you that know what it is, and it ripped this big hole in my leg down to the bone. And over the years, it's gotten lighter and almost white in texture. But when I first got the red light belts, I mean, it had to be 20 years old, 20, 30 years old. And what I noticed, I have this big divot in that scar. It's almost like it's relaxed a little bit, like the connective tissue would with cellulite. So there's still a divot, but it's not nearly as prominent. Like it's like 2.5 inches across. When I get a tan and some shorts on, I'll show it on camera one day. But it's more level. For years you would see it through like my leotards and my jeans. Everybody would be, what's that hole in your leg from where this divot was? And I do say, I don't know if it was the infrared or the red light, but I used both, and I did notice a better coloration as well. It's got a little bit of pink back to it. It's not so white looking. So I'd be interested to see how that goes. And for the rest of you, oh, Brent has got the 4D too. So you got it all going on, girl. You've definitely heard me ramble, I'm sure, in the past. And I know your name is familiar. It's driving me. I'll see the rest of you next week. I have this coming Saturday, of course, is my open orientation session. So for those of you that are not new vibration plate users, or you just need a butt kick and you need me to nag at you, or maybe something's changed and you fell off your bike and now you need to know how to use your plate to recover from that. I'm trying every Saturday for the next couple of months as just an open orientation. It will be a session just like this through Lifepro's channels. I'll announce it as a reminder on Fridays typically. But I'm going to be running that hopefully at 7 p.m. on Saturday evening, so you guys can enjoy your Saturday. And if you'd like to join me, that'll be running again, like I say, at 7 p.m. Saturday night. Bring your vibration plate. New, existing users, I invite you all. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Deb. Oh, Deb Wall's here too. Hi, Deb. What's the different function between the belts? Just the vibration? Deb, you should watch the whole thing. But the Pro has vibration, and the newer Pro Elite does as well. The regular Aliva Red does not have the vibration. That's a bit of the difference there. I hope that makes sense. Linda says it's very soothing and relaxing. It took me a while to figure out the remote. Yeah, I totally botched it on camera there. It started working when I put it back down on the ground and gave up, of course. Using for scar tissue from ankle fracture, all kinds of different reasons that you're motivated to use these devices. But the key, guys, is using them consistently. So stick with it and keep me posted. If you're watching this on a recorded basis and you're using a belt, you got questions, or you want to brag about something, I'd love to hear from you. Have a great rest of the night, guys. Don't work too hard.